Calling to order the Monday, August 21st, 2017 regular meeting of the 36th Council of the City of Berkeley. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Baker.
Here.
Councilmember Blanchard.
Here.
Councilmember Gravlin.
Here.
Councilmember Kadekel.
Here.
Councilmember Stedman.
Here.
Councilmember Turbrack.
Here.
And Mayor O'Dwyer.
Here. The first order of business is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Move to approve.
Support.
Move to approve by Councilmember Turbrack with support by Mayor Pro Tem Baker. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll?
Blanchard.
Yes.
Gravlin.
Yes.
Kadekel.
Yes.
Stedman.
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
O'Dwyer.
Yes. And now I see Pastor Adam Groves with us this evening. Would you please stand for the invocation?
Let's pray. Father God, we do thank you for this special day you've given us, this eclipse day, unique day, this day that we remember that you are God and we are not, and that you are sustaining all things. So we're thankful for the grace that you give us each and every day. Lord, we pray tonight for this meeting. We pray for wisdom and discernment for these leaders across the table here. We pray for the community members here, and we just pray that there will be a good business done today for the good of the city. Lord, thank you so much for this city that you've blessed us with. Please protect our police as I see them out in the hallway as they do their job this week and the weeks ahead. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we come to the citizens' comments portion of tonight's meeting, when you may present your thoughts on issues that are not included on tonight's agenda. Council members will not engage you in discussion. If your concern needs to be addressed by a member of city staff or a department of the city, please sign your name on the sheet provided at the clerk's desk. You may speak on a specific agenda item when it is being considered. When an individual has completed their comments, we ask that you refrain from gestures of approval or disapproval because, of course, this can be intimidating to some residents. When you come to the microphone, please state your name and city of residence.
My name is Lindsay. I'm from Brighton, Michigan. I'm here this evening to ask that the City of Berkeley declare September Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We would like to place ribbons along the Main Street areas on trees and lampposts to serve as notification to the residents of the city's support for this cause. We started a nonprofit, Love Team Tessa, in honor of Tessa Prothero, a local 9-year-old girl who lost her 4-year battle in June. I have also left a written formal request to go gold, along with more detailed information for Mr. Baumgarten, along with my contact information for any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else coming to the microphone, then we move along to the consent agenda. Ms. Boucher, would you please read the items on tonight's consent agenda?
Approve of the minutes. Matter of approving the minutes of the regular 36th City Council meeting on Monday, July 17, 2017. Warrant. Matter of approving warrant number 1317. Resolution number R3017. Matter of declaring month of September 2017 a Substance Abuse Recovery Awareness Month, and Friday, September 22nd, 2017 a Substance Abuse Recovery Awareness Day. Resolution number R3117. Matter of recognizing Rowan Crawford for the Civilian Citation Award.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Move to approve by Councilmember Kadekel with support by Councilmember Blanchard. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll?
Gravlin.
Yes.
Kadekel.
Yes.
Stedman.
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Blanchard.
Yes.
O'Dwyer.
Yes. And now we come to the regular agenda. Ms. Boucher, would you please read item number 1?
Recognitions, presentations. Matter of any recognitions or presentations from the consent agenda.
I've asked Councilmember Gravlin to please read Resolution 3017.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Berkeley, Michigan, declaring the month of September 2017 as Substance Use Recovery Awareness Month, and Friday, September 22nd, 2017 as Substance Use Recovery Awareness Day. Whereas substance use recovery is important for individual well-being and vitality, as well as for families, communities, and businesses. And whereas approximately 21.5 million people aged 12 or older had a substance use disorder in the past year. And whereas 1 in 5 teens abused prescription drugs before the age of 13. And whereas last year 2,000 Michiganders died due to an opioid overdose, placing Michigan as the 7th highest number of deaths due to opioid overdose in the nation. And whereas we will continue to educate and raise awareness of the risks and potential harm associated with prescription drug misuse. And whereas we believe everyone facing substance use disorders deserve the benefit of recovery. And whereas Friday, September 22nd, 2017, has been designated for Oakland County's 10th annual Substance Use Recovery Celebration and Walk. And whereas stigma and stereotypes associated with substance use disorders often keep people from seeking treatment that could improve their quality of life. And whereas substance use disorders occur when the recurrent use of alcohol and/or drugs causes clinically or functionally significant impairment, such as health problems, disability, and failure to meet major responsibilities at work, school, or home. And whereas substance use disorder recovery is a journey of healing and transformation, enabling people to live in a community of his or her choice while striving to achieve his or her full potential. And whereas substance use disorder recovery benefits individuals with substance use disorders by focusing their abilities to live, work, learn, and fully participate and contribute to our society, and also enriches the culture of our community. And now, therefore, the City of Berkeley resolves, Section 1, that the members of this Berkeley City Council declare the month of September 2017 as Substance Use Recovery Awareness Month, and September 22nd, 2017 as Substance Use Recovery Awareness Day in the City of Berkeley. We encourage increased public awareness and understanding of substance use and promote treatment and recovery. Introduced and passed at a regular meeting of the City Council on Monday, August 21st, 2017. Phil O'Dwyer, Mayor.
Thank you. And now I have asked Councilmember Stedman to read Resolution 117.
This is a very special resolution because it's a resolution of the Council of the City of Berkeley, Michigan, recognizing my granddaughter, Rowan Crawford, as a recipient of the Civilian Citation Award. Whereas the Interim Director of Public Safety and the City Council, on behalf of all residents, express sincere thanks and present this Civilian Citation Award to Rowan Crawford. And whereas nominated by excuse me, Lieutenant Corey Miller, Fire Marshal, on June 12, 2017 at 1:07 a.m. hours when Berkeley units were dispatched to a possible structure fire in a residence. Units arrived on scene to find all occupants out of the house and the fire already extinguished by occupants prior to the arrival of public safety officers. The nominee, Rowan Crawford, was awake playing a video game in the upstairs of the residence when she smelled smoke. She went downstairs to the first floor and found smoke conditions to be much worse and a fire fully ablaze. She was able to yell to wake all occupants in the home to alert them of the danger. Because of her quick actions, all occupants of the residence made it out safely. Now therefore, the City of Berkeley resolves, Section 1, that the Council and Interim Director of Public Safety does hereby recognize and presents the Civilian Citation Award to Rowan Crawford, introduced at passed at a regular City Council meeting on Monday, August 21st, 2017, and signed by Phil O'Dwyer, Mayor, and Robert North, Interim Director of Public Safety. And on this evening, of course, we're giving an award for totally disobeying her mother and her grandmother and not going to sleep. But had she gone to sleep, it could have been a real tragedy. When she came down, the fire was blazing and the smoke was filled in the living room. And I was on the couch 15 minutes before. I'd been watching a TV program, and at that point I didn't even know anything was happening. So I would say if she had not come down at that moment, it could have been a real tragedy. So Rowan, you may come up here and get your award. And if you Okay, you get to shake everybody's hand. Everybody, every single person.
Congratulations. Thank you so much for your work. Good job.
I also want to say that the firemen who came, the public safety officers who came, were tremendous, and they went and got a huge fan, and I think they must have had it in the doorway for an hour and a half to air the house out so we could actually go into it again because of the plastic odor. And don't plug air conditioners into a extension cord.
There you go.
Good tip. Very good. Thank you, and congratulations on being so vigilant.
Would you like to say anything, Rowan?
Very good. Well, thank you for being here to receive this award, and thank you to all our firefighters, public safety officers for their diligence as well in taking care of all our residents. And now, Ms. Boucher, we'll go to item number 2, please.
Oath of office to the newly promoted Public Safety Sergeant Dennis Geary and newly appointed Public Safety Officer Robert Kwasinski.
Is there a motion to move to the administering of the oaths?
Motion.
Motion by Councilmember Blanchard, support by Councilmember Terbrack. Ms. Boucher, when you are ready, please administer the oath to Sergeant Dennis Geary and PSO Robert Kwasinski.
Dennis. I'm sorry, Robert. We're just going to have you raise your right hand and just repeat after me. You want to go ahead and speak into the mic. I, Dennis Richard Geary,
I, Dennis Richard Geary,
having been duly appointed as a Public Safety Sergeant for the City of Berkley,
having been duly appointed as Public Safety Sergeant for the City of Berkley,
do hereby solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do hereby solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Charter of the City of Berkley,
the Charter of the City of Berkeley,
and that I will perform the duties of my office to the best of my ability.
and that I will perform the duties of my office to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk?
Yeah. Now that he has the stripes, he has to have the microphone.
I'll make it brief. I'd like to thank the mayor, the city council, the city manager for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, and I would like to thank my family that's here, who have been a huge support to me. My mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my future brother-in-law, and then obviously my wife and my 2 kids are here. The support that they've shown me the last 10 years that I've been here has been phenomenal. And again, I'd like to thank you, everybody, for this. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dennis, and congratulations.
If you can raise your right hand, Robert, and repeat after me. I, Robert Kwasinski,
I, Robert Kwasinski,
having been duly appointed as a Public Safety Officer for the City of Berkley,
have been duly appointed as a Public Safety Officer for the City of Berkeley.
do hereby solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Do hereby solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Charter of the City of Berkley,
the Charter of the City of Berkeley,
and that I will perform the duties of my office to the best of my ability.
and that I will perform the duties of my office to the best of my ability.
Now you get to speak.
I want to thank the City of Berkeley. I started off here just as a volunteer firefighter, and the opportunity that the city has given me has been something I will take with me for a lifetime. So for the city and the community to support my career path, I couldn't ask for anything more. So I want to thank the City Council and the guys at the department that have been nothing but helpful for me in my career choice, and also my family, my father here, who has literally pushed me since I was a kid to be something in life, and I couldn't thank him anything more. Otherwise, I would have got it. So, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody and the community, and I look forward to serving each and every one of you.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you all for being here.
clears out the gallery.
And now, Ms. Boucher, we're ready to move along to item number 3, please.
Motion number M6117, matter of approving appointments to various boards and commissions.
Is there a motion to approve M6117?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mayor Pro Tem Baker.
Support.
Support by Councilmember Terbrak. Mr. Baumgarten.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we continued the work to fill out our boards and commissions, we have a slate of appointments and reappointments to come before you today. 4 boards: the Beautification Advisory Committee, the DDA Executive Board, and the Environmental Advisory Board, and the Historical Committee. So your applicants are as such: Wayne Atfield, a reappointment with a term expiring July 1, 2019. The DDA Executive Board with Donna Dirks, with a term expiring July 1, 2020. Petro Drakopoulos, good, with a term expiring July 1, 2021. Andrew Gilbert, with a term expiring July 1, 2020. And Mitchell Moses, with a term expiring July 1, 2021. The Environmental Advisory Committee, Haley Riley, a new appointment with a term expiring July 1, 2020. And last, Historical Committee with Ms. Mary Catherine Mueller, with a term expiring July 1, 2019. And Kathleen Schmeling, with a term expiring July 1, 2019. So that is the slate presented before you.
Councilmember Terbrak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In our packets, we had an additional volunteer that didn't make it onto the agenda, but we do have his information. Everybody has it in front of us. It's Gregory Patterson for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Want to make sure we get him in there as well.
So that'd be Greg Patterson for the Parks and Rec Advisory Board with a term expiring July 1, 2020.
Thank you.
Very good.
Excellent.
Thank you. Any discussion on these appointments? Councilmember.
I'd just like to make a comment that I think we have some outstanding people this time on there. It really looks good. The people are solid, and I think they'll all do great jobs for the city. I'm very, very proud of this selection.
Mayor Pro Tem Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to echo my colleagues' sentiments on this. Both of the committees I'm liaisons to are represented here tonight. I'm exceptionally pleased with the caliber and quality of the talent that we have here joining or rejoining the boards. It's excellent work, and it represents the tremendous capability and talent that we have throughout our city. Thanks.
Very good. Anybody else? I would, beyond the talent, there are lots of people who have talent. But these are people who work well together, in collaborative ways to move our city forward. They are positive and optimistic and have a can-do attitude, and that's what I like. In addition, obviously, to the talent and skill and knowledge that they have. So, with that, Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll on M6117?
Kadeco?
Yes.
Stedman?
Yes.
Turbrack?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Blanchard?
Yes.
Graveline?
Yes.
O'Dwyer?
Yes. And now, Ms. Boucher, would you please read item number 4?
Resolution number R3217, matter of amending Oxford Merchants Park Resolution number R0717, approved March 20, 2017, supporting the city's Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund, MNRTF, grant application.
Is there a motion to approve R3217?
Move to approve. Support.
Move to approve Councilmember Terbrak with support by Councilmember Kadeco. Mr. Baumgarten.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are joined by our Parks and Rec Director. She can explain why this comes before you, but this, as you recall, is an amendment to our Parks and Rec grant for merchants in Oxford Park. Teresa?
Good evening, thank you. So I came before you in March to ask for funds to apply for this grant. We had a 42% match. What happened in between March and now is that we met with our grant coordinator from the state, and what we were told was that we had to have sidewalks in the actual project in order to be eligible for the project that we were applying for. As you know, or in our capital improvement budget for 2018-19, we do have sidewalks budgeted. What we have to do is to move them into the 17-18 year to show that that they're part of the project and that they will be going to the restrooms and also to the splash pad. That makes it universal design, and that makes us eligible for the project, which we want to continue moving forward for. At this point, it'll move into the 17-18 budget. That'll be a budget amendment. We'll amend it. We have a 10-day period where we can upload additional information for the grant for our final score, and we'll do that whenever it opens up, when the portal opens up, and we have that 10 days. The truth of the matter is that most of this money, or all of this money, is going to probably push back, whether it's a year or two, when and if we get that grant, because the funds usually run on a 1 to 2 year time. But at this point, we need to include it in the resolution. We were told we had to do an amendment and also include it in a budget amendment to continue to be eligible for the grant. So it does increase the city's match to 49% match, or $170,000.
Very good. Any discussion on this item or questions for our Director? Seems like this is a wise move.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for helping keep an eye on this project and ensuring things. So it appears it's more of just a timing thing, right? Because we were already planning on doing the sidewalks anyway, so we're not really increasing. It's just pulling it forward so that we can remain eligible for the grants. It's not
Correct.
like
It does. Correct. It does increase the amount for this year, but in total for the project, it doesn't. The sidewalks were always a part of the plan, and they were actually in the capital improvement budget as the same amount for the following year. So we're just changing the year so that we can still be eligible for the grant, because they have to be part of the final of this project design for the grant. It is part of the final park design, and it was always in the budget. Correct.
Great. Thank you.
Very good. Anything else on this?
Makes sense.
Very good. Thank you, Teresa, for being on top of this important issue. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll on R3217?
Stedman?
Yes.
Turbrack?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Blanchard?
Yes.
Gravelin?
Yes.
Hideko?
Yes.
O'Dwyer?
Yes. And now, Ms. Boucher, would you please read item number 5?
Motion number M6217, matter of approving engineering services for water main asset management plan with Hubble Roth and Clark HRC for $56,500. Engineering funds have been allocated in the current year fiscal budget under account number 592-536-821-000.
Is there a motion to approve M6217?
Move to approve.
Support.
Approved by Councilmember Hideko, support by Councilmember Blanchard. Mr. Baumgarten.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You have a packet of information included in your packet here. Basically, the state has mandated that the city were to adopt a formal asset management plan specific to our water mains. It's an understandable practice. It's something that we had budgeted for for this fiscal year. Derek can talk a little bit more how this could mirror our other asset management plans. So.
Good evening, and this is a MDQ requirement, but it's certainly something that I've been looking forward to for some time. Similar to the SAW grant that we had, which paid 90% of our sewer undertaking that has been completed. This is a water main asset management plan, so this will mimic that on the sewer side. And we're very excited to move forward. The scope is certainly not as involved as the sewer grant. In that grant, we received, I think, over $600,000 in state funds for that very extensive grant that was over a period of 3 years. So this is a much smaller sort of scope for the water main asset management plan, but we're excited nonetheless. We'll be able to bring, we're going to use GIS to go out and create an electronic framework of our water main for the first time, which again will match up nicely with our sewer electronic GIS that we now have in our possession. So we're very excited about this. This will also give us priorities for water main improvements and sort of sets the stage for years ahead as far as capital improvements go. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Councilmember
Blanchard.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is another unfunded mandate from the state, but this is actually a good thing to do, I think. When we get the GIS stuff located, we can at that point have that, see our fire hydrants on a laptop that we could have in the fire truck. And as we're rolling to the fire scene, we could identify where all of the hydrants are, correct?
That is correct.
So
And have a map that's real time, that's updated, because what we're working on now is old quarter section maps that are decades old with notes on them. So we're going to be able to bring this into an electronic framework, be able to update it and utilize it for work orders when it comes to water main breaks, hydrant replacement, gate valve replacements. The list goes on and on and on. So it's endless possibilities. And this will get us started with it.
Yeah, the important thing about that for us in public safety is that if we got a major fire and we're bringing engines in from other municipalities, the dispatcher can look at his map, see right where that hydrant is located, and then with coordination with the incident commander, can spot those trucks with those hydrants, and we can be much more efficient. So it's a good thing. So.
And we've already started that process, actually, Councilman. Before the winter time, we winterize fire hydrants. We have to pull all the water out so that they don't freeze. And we've actually started with mapping those a little cruder than what we're going to do here, but we've already taken a step in that direction as a part of our regular winterization of fire hydrants.
Mayor Pro Tem Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for this as well. I'm a big fan of digital information, understanding exactly where all of our assets are and how we can access those. We've already highlighted some key ways in which this information can benefit the community. I think that's excellent. And just to be clear, this will cover the entirety of the city, right? It's not like a portion this year and a portion next year, but the entirety.
That is correct. It's the full city, and we have to submit everything to the state by January 1st of 2018.
Right. And then so in terms of our timeline, do we think we'll have it done well ahead of that, or is it how we
I think the schedule is rather aggressive, so I won't say how much ahead of time, but we're going to get going tomorrow on this for sure.
And just again, there'd be no impact to our residents, no interruption in service of any kind as we do this.
No, I don't expect that. If we do have to operate some fire hydrants, we'll post some things as far as the cloudy water concerns, if that has to be something we have to do for modeling purposes, but we'll let residents know if we do have to do that.
Great. Thank you again.
Very good. Thank you, Derek. Ms. Bowers, would you please call the roll on M6217?
Turbrack,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Blanchard,
Yes.
Gravelin,
Yes.
Kadeco,
Yes.
Stedman,
Yes.
O'Dwyer.
Yes. And now, Ms. Bowers, would you please read item number 6?
Motion number M6317, matter of approving the purchase of two 2017 Ford 250 pickup trucks through Macomb County Cooperative Bid Program from Signature Ford at a total cost of $58,589. These replacement vehicles are identified in the City of Berkley Capital Equipment Replacement Program, CERP. Funds for this expenditure will come from account number 101-441-985-000.
Is there a motion to approve M6317?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Stedman with support by Councilmember Gravelin. Mr. Baumgarten.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is again a budget item as we continue to try to catch up on some of our capital improvement needs, or specifically our equipment replacement needs. We're looking at replacing two F-250 pickup trucks. This is a budget item, a planned replacement. The two vehicles that we're replacing are from 1999 and from 2002, which in theory doesn't sound like all that long ago, but in truck years, they're about 112 years apiece. So we're happy to get the possibility of updating these two new vehicles. And Derek can talk to you a little bit about how we got to that price.
Thank you, Matt. And yeah, the keys are a 1999 and a 2002, so they've served us well. Both are starting to rust out quite a bit. So these were items that we had planned for in the CERP, so we were looking forward to replacing these, and we're buying them through the Signature Ford bid through Macomb County, which, as you can see in your memo, significant savings over list price on these vehicles. This applies to both Public Works trucks as well as police vehicles, and so we continue to use that program. It takes, they're running, I believe, 8 to 10 weeks on delivery of these pickup trucks, so we're very much looking forward to getting these replacement trucks in, and then we'll send the two older vehicles to public auction once delivering acceptance of the new vehicles. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Councilor Blanchard.
Thank you, Your Honor. The special equipment lift gates that are on these trucks, will they be sold with the truck and we get new, or will we transfer the lift gates and stuff to the old truck to the new truck?
Yeah, Councilman, I do believe I don't believe these have those on
okay.
them. Yes, I'm positive on the lift gates, and I'm pretty sure on the plows. So they'll be purchased brand new. The previous vehicles did not have those pieces of equipment, but the lift gates, for instance, the backs that they have saved on those, we've experienced those now for a number of years, and it's really been advantageous for us for lifting heavy objects back into the truck. So I think we'll probably be purchasing those with every pickup that we purchase.
I would like to say that I've reviewed all your specs, and I think these are very adequately spec'd out. Nothing that they don't need, and everything that they do need. The first thing I checked was to make sure you had limited slip differentials, and you did. So I went there. I think it looks like a very complete spec job.
And you can thank Foreman Sean Young for that.
Excellent.
Very good. Yeah, Councilmember Cadeckel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Schuler. Do you plan on auctioning off the 112-year-old vehicles?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And how long does that usually, what kind of recovery do we get on that usually?
Oh, it really depends. And it, you know, for pickup trucks like this, you know, you're talking in the few $1,000 type range. So that's been our previous experience with vehicles of this age.
Super. Thank you.
They traditionally go to the Thumb has a public auction that sells the vehicles for us.
Councilmember Gravelin.
Regarding this snowplow attachment and lift gates, are those already a separate line item you had budgeted to purchase, or will that come out of this $80,000 that was budgeted for this?
That will come
as well?
out of the
This-
full 80. Yes, that is correct. So that total line item will come out. I certainly expect that we'll finish under budget on these, but I've got to price those items again before I commit to what we're going to do. But we'll certainly come in under budget.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Hearing no one else to weigh in on this, then we'll move along to Ms. Boucher calling the roll on M6317.
Baker?
Yes.
Blanchard?
Yes.
Gravelin?
Yes.
Cadeckel?
Yes.
Stedman?
Yes.
Turbrack?
Yes.
O'Dwyer?
Yes. Now, Ms. Boucher, would you please read item number 7?
Resolution number R3317, matter of authorizing an amendment of the 2017-2018 operating budget as presented.
Is it a motion to approve R3317?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Cadeckel, support by Councilmember Stedman. Mr. Baumgarten.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, in the course of good financial management of this city, we bring forward to the City Council budget amendments so that you guys have a working quarterly knowledge of where the monies and our resources are being allocated. Our finance director does a fantastic financial job keeping track of those items and making sure the city remains on course. So with that being said, she brings forth to you the enclosed budget amendments. So, Sabrina?
Good evening. The budget amendments that are before you today are all related to rollovers. They are were budgeted items in our fiscal year 17 budget that were not spent that department heads are asking be rolled over into fiscal year 18. We did ask that the budget amendments or these rollovers truly be capital projects in nature, so you won't see office supplies for $200 that they didn't spend in fiscal year 17 being rolled over. These are big ticket items that for whatever reason could not be spent in 17, and we are asking for them to go into 18. Aside from being rolled over, if they were not rolled over, they were just fall to our fund balance for fiscal year 17. So now they will be set aside in our fund balance and be a separate line. It'll be probably committed, I would say, is what we've done in the past. So, and again, setting aside those fund balance. In the general fund, it's kind of a hodgepodge of departments and what we're asking for. We have equipment related to the elections. We have building improvements for our dispatch office. A lot of that was related to the 911 upgrade. So again, this money is some more improvements that need to be done now that that 911 project is done. Some more improvements. Bulletproof vests that again, we're waiting for some new officers to be hired and they need to be fitted. So again, just the timing of being fitted and actually having those items brought to us. Equipment, the generator, again, the specs did not meet the budget. So again, I think we were going back out to bid for the generator, hoping to see what the prices came in at. The vehicle changeovers for our public safety, again, things that just did not happen. On the major street side, these all relate to capital projects, our Coolidge resurfacing project, as well as the Harvard project and the street name sign project. Those will all happen in this next fiscal year. Same with local streets. Again, the street name signs and our sidewalk replacement program will happen this next year. Sanitation fund. We were hoping to purchase a new rear load garbage truck for $120,000. When we went out for that, we just could not find any takers where we could find a truck for that price. There is another truck budgeted in our fiscal year 19 budget. So again, hoping to see what we can find in the next couple years for this price, or the hope would be that we would couple this $120,000, roll it forward a couple years and couple it with the 19 money and hopefully be able to purchase a vehicle that way if we can't find a used one for this price. And the DDA has also asked that we roll forward $23,000 that was originally budgeted for the banner pole replacement and reprogram that to the design guideline project. Any questions on those?
Anybody have questions on this? Basically, we're aligning all our accounts and making sure the money goes to the right place.
Correct. Yep. And again, just
And the
things
money
that didn't
that's
happen.
transferred in for next year's expenditure gets tagged as committed.
Correct.
So it doesn't give us a false notion that, you know, when we look at the fund balance, that there's more there than
Right.
is actually. Very good. Any additional questions? None then. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll on R 3317?
Blanchard.
Yes.
Gravelin.
Yes.
Kadeco.
Yes.
Stedman.
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
O'Dwyer.
Yes. Thank you, Sabrina. And now, Ms. Boucher, would you please read item number 8?
Motion number M6417, matter of approving the appointment of Deputy City Manager Darshell Strickland Love as a 2017 Officer Delegate representing the City of Berkeley Municipal Employees Retirement System, MERS, at the MERS Annual Conference in Detroit, Michigan.
Is there a motion to approve M6417?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Gravelin with support by Councilmember Stedman. Mr. Baumgarten.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure many of you will recall this is an annual item in order to stay up to date on the changes in the Michigan Municipal Employee Retirement System. We send an officer delegate every year to attend these conferences so that they're up to date on the changes in that system. This year, Darshell, who also handles in addition to being the Deputy City Manager, also handles our HR function. So it's a very appropriate alignment of her job duties with the subject matter that's going to be presented at this conference. So we ask your approval to send Darshell to that meeting.
Thank you. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll on M6417?
Gravelin.
Yes.
Kadeco.
Yes.
Stedman.
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Blanchard.
Yes.
O'Dwyer.
Yes. Now we come to the communications portion of the meeting, and Councilmember Kadekel is up first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On August 9th, I attended Save Michigan Cities. It was a program put on by Pleasant Ridge, Ferndale, Oak Park, Hazel Park, and Berkley. It was held at the Detroit Zoo in one of the buildings over there. It was put on by MML, Tony Mahingney.
Yep.
And he did a great job. And I know there were some residents there at the time. I wish more people could have attended. Really shows how we are hurting when it comes to shared revenue from Lansing. And it was really good. He put it on August 9th, August 10th, and then again one day last week, I think he put it on. And it was very informative. Cruise Fest 2017, I can't say enough about it. First of all, I want to thank DTE Energy for their support and being a sponsor. Their $25,000 really comes in handy. Chairman Mark Kuhn and his committee did a magnificent job once again. This committee pretty much is year-round. I mean, we might get 1 or 2 months off, and then we're right back at it again. And because of the leadership of Chairman Kuhn, we really do have a successful Cruise Fest every year. The volunteers come from all over. 2 of my close friends from Hamilton, Ontario come in, and they've actually been part of the Dream Cruise volunteer part with the parade and parking of the cars for the last 7-8 years, and I can't thank Brian and Edie enough. I let Mr. Schuler know, DPW Foreman Sean Young does a magnificent job. Your department is second to none with Sean's leadership. I remember walking out of the lunch cafe probably about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and you wouldn't have even known there was an event. It was spotless, and I thank you and your department for all of that work. Administration was great. Darshell, Cindy, and Chelsea really helped put together for the dignitaries a nice dinner before the parade, and they did a really nice job, and I want to thank them. Our Grand Marshals, Daniel Smith from DTE, and Glenda Lewis from Channel 7. Teresa and the Parks and Rec Department, great job. And I'm mentioning all these different people that shows that we really work as a team throughout the year in getting this event going. The bands were great. People didn't want to leave at 11 o'clock, but I told them they had to. So Sean could clean the street. So it worked out really nice. And this year's merchandise sales were great. I mean, we really had a successful year with Cruise Fest, and I want to thank everyone involved and everyone who attended. I want to congratulate Sergeant Dennis Geary and Officer Robert Kwinsinski on their appointments tonight, and I'm glad they're part of our team. Volunteers, I can't say it enough. I started out as a volunteer, and I want to congratulate all the board members that were appointed or reappointed tonight to the various boards. And last but not least, many of you know I was in a car accident back in April, and I'm not the only one. There have been a lot of recent accidents due to texting or not paying attention while driving, distracted driving. I know a young lady, 35 years old, and her daughter got killed on US 23 about a month and a half ago because of something like this. And I sat down with City Manager Matt Baumgarten, and I know he's been in touch with Attorney John Sterin, and we're looking into a remedy to solve the solution. If every city can put in their part and try to stop this, and you know, obviously there's laws in Lansing that preempt a lot of this, but you know, the less people that are in physical therapy and hurt and killed, it'd be a lot better when you're on the road. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Gravelin.
First, I'd like to extend further congratulations to Ms. Crawford for her heroics. That's an outstanding story. Thank you, Eileen, for sharing that with us. And to Officers Geary and Kwinsinski. That was, again, congratulations to them. We're so fortunate to have them as our wonderful part of our public safety department. A couple of catch-up announcements. The tree board met last Monday. They're finishing up revisions to the ordinance, so that should be before us very shortly. And the deadline to order trees was Friday. I was just informed we had a mad rush at the deadline, so we'll have the final numbers for the next meeting, so that's great. Keep our tree-lined streets and parks. The Planning Commission meets tomorrow. Unfortunately, the new commissioner, Michelle Buckler, could not be with us tonight, but she will be here tomorrow night, 7:30. And La Salette is on the agenda tomorrow evening at 7:30. The Environmental Committee also meets this week on Thursday the 24th at 6:30 in the Public Safety Conference. I look forward to welcoming the newest member, Ms. Riley. With that, I'd also like to add, I did attend the MML presentation regarding revenue sharing. I'd like to expound upon Mr. Kadeckles because this is something we need to keep talking about. It's that serious, and we'll be talking about it again and again and again because we need to get the word out there. I left the presentation wanting to pen a letter to my dear state of Michigan saying, why don't you love us? And by us, I mean not just Berkeley, but cities and townships and villages all across the state, because this is the very place where we live, we work, we play, we spend our money, we spend our time. And how do I know that Michigan doesn't love us? Because if you go by the old adage, to see where people's treasure is, you see where they spend their money. So from the period of 2002, bear with me, I have a few props to share. One we've shown you before, an oldie but a goodie, and you will see this many times over. From the period of 2002 to 2012, the municipal revenues for cities across the country went up 50%. All across the country, an average of 50%. In Hawaii, much higher, lower in others. But in Michigan, we actually went down nearly 10%. Now, people want to say, well, the economy is bad everywhere. Well, it was bad everywhere, but the other states managed to share revenue with their cities. And in Michigan, I know this is smaller, but you can see the important parts. In Michigan, during the same time frame, Michigan, the state revenue for the state budget actually went up nearly 30%. But they opted to share with us 56% less of those dollars. So you can see why this is important and why we want to keep talking about it. Had the levels remained the same that we were receiving around the 2002 timeframe, the city of Berkeley alone would have received from 2002 to today, we would have received $5,633,603.64 more into our operating budget had they shared at the same levels of that time period. And if we stay at the rate where we currently are, just to get back to the exact same dollars we were operating at in 2005, it would take us until the year 2030. So this is a big deal. So what can you do? Haha, why are we talking about this? You can go to savemycity.org, should be on the end of this. Save MI City. And there's tons more information about why this has happened, how this has happened, where we are, and what we can do going forward. Secondly, you can go to our city website, the City of Berkley website, Berkley Mich. On our homepage, you scroll down to Explore the Beauty of Berkley. Click there. It'll bring you to a list on the side. At the bottom says State Government. And there will pop up our state government, our legislators, the Bergs. Please contact our state senator, Marty Nolenberg, our state representative, Robert Wittenberg, and the governor's listed there as well. Just ask them, why don't you love us? Give us some love. We are what make this state work. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Tarbrecht.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. See Derek out there and Teresa, guys, what would you guys like to do with $5 million extra in the budget? I'm sure the chief could have found plenty of things to do as well, and Matt Church. So just something that, it's something that we up here know about and have to deal with pretty consistently and on a certainly annual basis when we are looking at our budget and taking care of our budgets. But it's something that we really want to make sure that everybody, especially all the residents of Michigan, understand really what is happening, because it's critical. And the only way that we're going to be able to change any of that, excuse me, is to hopefully get enough people and raise enough awareness that folks in Lansing have to start listening to us. So I thank my colleagues who were able to attend that. I also want to thank everybody that was involved, certainly with the Cruise Fest. Tremendous, great weather, certainly DT sponsorship, but Mark, Teresa, the committee, the Parks and Rec Department, DPW, Public Safety, the multitude of volunteers that are here, and the residents and their friends and everyone else that showed up on 12 Mile. One, to appreciate the parade and the cars and the care that everybody takes into the upkeep that goes into those vehicles, those classic cars. But then just the incredible time people had on 12 Mile. Just everybody having a good time, being able to enjoy the end of the summer together, kind of celebrating the end of the summer. And that leads me into my next couple points. Ice Cream Social, as Summerfest winds to a close, is Tuesday from 6 to 8 at the Community Center. That is this coming Tuesday, 6 to 8 at the Community Center. And additionally, before we come back, it's a very special season that we're certainly on the eve of over the next couple of weeks. And it's not college football, as much as I am excited for college football. It's back to school time for our kids and for our teachers. And it's always a new year, kids going into new grades, a lot of excitement, a lot of nerves, a lot of anxiety, not just for the students, but also for the teachers. And I certainly want to thank the teachers for the job that they do, taking care of and educating and imparting as much wisdom as possible on their young proteges, and certainly wish the students a very successful 2017-2018 school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor. A couple quick thoughts as well. We've survived our first, or celebrated our first eclipse since 1979, and the next one won't be around for another 7 years. So until then, we'll have to make do with our own forms of entertainment and moving awesome things forward. It was Bryant McGill who once said, "Curiosity is one of the great secrets of happiness." Again, that's curiosity is one of the great secrets of happiness. So I kind of group my thoughts here into two categories, happiness and curiosity. I am happy and thankful for the Dream Cruise, the Cruise Fest Committee, the public safety, all the volunteers, the support that we've received up and down the entire stretch of the corridor here has been fantastic. The residents were wonderful. The cars were stunning. It was a great event. Excellent work to all involved with that up and down the board. The Historical Committee will be coming out with their next batch of souvenir mugs in the next little bit here. Look forward to those pretty soon. The prior mugs have been very popular items to help recognize and appreciate the city's history as we make more and more of it every day. So look forward to those mugs coming soon. I'm also very happy and thankful for our DDA, Downtown Development Authority. In addition to the new members we have on board, they're continuing to make some great progress. It was mentioned during the budget amendment about the DDA design guidelines. Their first public input session for the design guidelines is coming up on Wednesday, September 27th. That'll be one of many opportunities to hear and listen and contribute to the guidelines that will help shape the look and feel of our downtown for generations to come. So if you have the opportunity to come participate in that, please do. I'm thankful to our DDA Director, Vivian, who is here again tonight representing the DDA in the city so finely. I'm curious and inquisitive about the La Salette proposal. It should be interesting to see if and how the input has been received and worked into the materials and where it goes from there. I'm hopeful for positive dialogue so that we can, as a community, make an informed decision about where that might go. I'm curious and inquisitive about bicycle outreach. It's wonderful weather out there still. I see lots of folks out there enjoying cycles, bicycling. Even after the Lids for Kids event, where so many helmets were distributed for free, I still see far too many folks taking a chance on hurting their noggins out there without wearing helmets and riding on the wrong side of the road and doing some things like that. So I'm curious about ways to continue to spread the word about how folks can enjoy cycling safely for long times to come. And finally, I'm curious and inquisitive about where I should hide my first Berkley rock. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, take a look, because they're awesome, and I now have one to pass on. So I'm curious about where it'll be. It should be fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Stedman.
Okay. The Cruise Fest on Friday night was absolutely wonderful. I think it was one of the nicest weather days we've ever had. Nice and breezy, and beautiful night out. Lots of people out, admiring cars in the parade and just having a generally good time. I was also, like, our police department does a wonderful job the whole week, Friday night, Saturday. And I sat up at the end of my street on Woodward and watched them close it down. And it is just amazing how quickly the police cars came out there about a half hour early and were in the median. And then right at exactly 9 o'clock, they pulled out, and within minutes, they had one half of Woodward Avenue shut down. It was just an amazing feat. And I don't know how they, figured that whole system out, but they did a great job. In terms of introducing my granddaughter, one thing when the police came that they found was I had one smoke detector that obviously did not work. So the next day, Justin Frost was at my door and with smoke detectors. And he said, "Is there anyone here that can install them?" I said, "Yes." And he says, "Because if you don't have anyone here that can install them right now, I will come in and put them in." I love our police department. They are so great. I think that's all I have tonight. Keep looking at the website for the Berkley Library. They have many things to offer, especially when school is starting. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Blanchard.
I think I have to talk quite a while, so you guys all earn your pay for tonight. We don't want to get out of here too early. I'd like to thank all the volunteers for the Cruise Fest and the Dream Cruise. I don't think that many people know how many they are. Just for instance, one of my logistics jobs is I feed all the first responders on Friday night, get them briefed and get them out to their posts. We had 135 first responders this year, and they were made up of Berkley, Oak Park, Lathrop Village, Pleasant Ridge, all the surrounding towns that aren't really engaged send officers. Oakland County Sheriff sends officers. In the past, we've even had state police, and they assist us on that. So that's what makes it run so smooth. This year, we also had the communications support team from Oakland County, which allowed us better communications around the whole area. So it's just a massive undertaking, and there's a lot of committed people that really help out. Also, I'd like to say that I am the chair of the Coolidge Traffic Committee, Coolidge Action Committee, whatever you want to call it, and our mission is to try and make Coolidge more friendly, business friendly, easier for people to get into and visit the businesses. I just want to do a quick summary of what we've done so far and what's coming. The first thing we did was we noticed that the speed limit was not clearly posted. There's not enough speed limit signs, and some of them were behind trees, and so they need a little tree trimming, a little extra things. That's been done. Municipal parking signs to identify the parking lot down off Dorothea and Coolidge, those were installed. We did an informal survey of businesses, and the biggest thing that came up in that was improved signage, directing visitors to parking, city buildings, parks, etc., and planters. So with that, we reviewed the wayfinding study that was commissioned by the DDA in 2013, and it was discussed and agreed that it would be a positive step. The proposal would have to be updated to include parking signs for the Coolidge lot that was built since the study was completed. It was agreed that this project should be a joint venture between the city and the DDA. The DDA has engaged Corbin Design to update the study and develop a sign message system, so that is underway. Crosswalks, additional crosswalks were discussed with the primary locations being Dorothea and near the library. City engineers have developed estimated costs to install these crosswalks, and both the city and DDA are looking for possible grants to fund them. So that's another thing going on. Other improvements that are going to happen, we have a thin asphalt surface micro-surfacing overlay on Coolidge and new pavement markings that will be done this fall. And left turn signals will be added to the 11 Mile and Coolidge light to hopefully make things easier to get through there. So that's just some of the things that the Coolidge Committee has worked on, helped out with, monitored, or thought about. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Baumgarten.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to be a little bit redundant tonight, and I apologize for that, but I'd be remiss if I didn't also thank the staff that worked so hard on Cruise Fest and Dream Cruise. You'll notice that in addition to all of the extra duties that were laid upon them this week, Teresa and Derek both brought to you normal functionary items. So in addition to everything else going on, our regular show must also still go on, and the fact that they have done that seamlessly is certainly a credit to their staff and just how fantastic they are as professionals doing a professional job. It was mentioned how great a job Sean does. I think this is there cannot be enough public kudos given to Sean and the crew that he runs, and the gentlemen that do such great work with our DPW as well, and as well as our police department. I had the opportunity to ride with them. I rode with Chief North Wednesday or Thursday night to kind of give a feel on how they shut down Woodward, and it really is a well-oiled machine. You can't say enough good things about them. It's like a science with these gentlemen. It's wonderful. I want to also thank Fox 2 for coming out and doing their zip trip. For anybody that was watching TV on Friday morning, they saw a beautiful showcase of the city of Berkeley. I was able to watch it. They posted it online. I was able to watch it later. And they hit a lot of great restaurants. They hit a lot of great stores. It really is worth going back and watching Fox 2's zip trip. They showcased Berkeley beautifully.
Excuse me, Matt, is that something the city can get just a copy of? Do we know?
I'm sure we can.
I think that would be something to keep in our archives for sure.
I'll make a note to have Chelsea do that. And then I want to thank the council members who brought up the Save My City information. And Colleen, I appreciate so much you showing some of those graphics and helping to bring awareness to this issue. Those sessions were recorded as part of the joint efforts. Many of those communities are CMN TV communities, so we'll be showing that live, or we're showing that not live, but on WBRK, so that anybody that missed it does have the opportunity to either download it from YouTube or watch it on the city's channel. So thank you so much for showcasing some of those numbers. It really does show, again, what a struggle it can be to, as somebody who freshly administers a municipality, really what we're up against and the lack of partnership that we have with the state. So thank you so much for having such a great grasp on that, and all of you that were able to attend. And as Steve said, you know those numbers so well, and I appreciate you bringing awareness to those. And my last item, my next chat with Matt is scheduled for Wednesday, October the 4th. Our featured department will be our city clerk's office, who will be unveiling the new voting machines that'll be primed and ready to go for November. So we look forward to that. That'll be at 6 p.m. right here in this room in the council chambers. And everybody's going to, I'm sure, flock to see our special guest that evening in Annette. So thank you so much, Annette, for partnering with me on the latest chat with Matt. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and unfortunately, it looks like the city manager left me with no choice but to be the one to put us past the 1 hour mark, but there, I just did it. Just a couple of things. We've been busy really this summer working on ordinances. The council just adopted at recent meetings a whole batch of ordinances that we had been working with the Public Safety Department on. And there are several ordinances we're working with the city manager's office on now. Councilman Kadekel referred to one of the subjects, one of the topics that we're looking at, and that is the whole issue of distracted driving. And what more we can do about it to really enhance the safety of the traveling public using the roads in Berkeley. Council members and folks in the audience are probably aware that in Michigan we do have a ban on texting while driving. Now, although you can't drive and text with your smartphone, did you know that there's nothing that prohibits you from texting to your heart's content while you're stopped at a traffic light, while you're slowed up in gridlock traffic, or better yet, it's only texting that's prohibited. You can email, you can browse, you can game, you could Facebook your friends, you could tweet. None of that's prohibited under the current law, only texting. So it's a fairly major loophole in the state law. And there was a bill introduced earlier this year to try to plug that up and expand the types of uses, basically all uses of a handheld device while you are operating a motor vehicle. But it's in committee in the House, in the State House, and it's hard to know how or when it's going to come out. So we are looking at it. There are limitations as to what we can do, because in Michigan, by design, our traffic laws are pretty much uniform throughout the state. So, we can't just go out and have our own Berkeley set of traffic laws, but we are looking at it to see what we can do to beef up and enhance, as I said, make our roads, our little niche here in the world, a little bit safer for the traveling public, and of course for pedestrians. And as I mentioned, we're looking at some other ordinances that will be coming to you soon, and of course medical marijuana is always an issue. We'll be hearing and talking a lot more about that in the coming weeks as the state continues to develop its regulations, and if things go according to plan, we'll actually start issuing licenses in those communities that are permitting medical marijuana businesses, possibly as soon as this coming January. So and that's something else we're looking at, making sure our ordinances, our things are good and tight to reflect the will of council on that. So that's my report for this evening.
Thank you. Well, we've had a wonderful week, variety of celebrations, and certainly capped off by Fox News program Zip Trip. And so I would like to associate my thoughts with those that have been expressed by my colleagues. But these are unsettled days in our nation. Ugly divisions at home and an uneasy peace abroad leave many people dispirited. Yet we must trust the checks and balances of our system to see us through these turbulent days. Temperate voices will prevail to reaffirm the fundamental values of this nation. Already the corporate executive community, all our military leaders, all our religious leaders have joined many congressional leaders in denouncing bigotry, racism, and neo-Nazi supremacist violence. This is a blemish on our national character, and not speaking out against it tacitly affirms it. We are a great and generous people, and we will mute the voices of hatred as we seek to create a more perfect union. On that thought, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Moved to adjourn by Councilmember Kadekel,
Support.
support by Councilmember Stedman. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll?
Kadekel?
Yes.
Stedman?
Yes.
Turbrack?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Blanchard?
Yes.
Groveland?
Yes.
O'Dwyer?
Yes. The August 21st meeting is adjourned.